In this video, I'm going to share with you how I travel the world for free and my 5-step system on how you can do the same. Let's get it. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Nate and I'm here to help you master your money. So I don't know about you guys, but traveling is one of my absolute most favorite things to do. And whenever my wife and I are able to, we try and go someplace new. But with the lockdowns currently in place, that's kind of been a challenge. But looking forward to when all this is over and done with, we're going to be going some places and we're going to be doing it totally for free. So there exists some pretty straightforward methods to be able to travel for free. And no, it's not going and being a travel influencer and blogging about the whole thing. That is not this. What this is even simpler and easier, and basically anyone can do it with a little prep work. You can travel totally for free. And my wife and I, for instance, we haven't paid for plane tickets in years. And coming up in the summer, hopefully, we're going to be going to Scotland and England and traveling the UK totally for free for about 2 weeks. So that's going to be fantastic. And I'm going to share with you how we're doing that, how you can do it, and how you can get flights and hotels and other expenses related to travel covered totally for free. So this is a little known trick that I have mentioned before, and it is called credit card churning. Now, before you click off this video, just wait a second, hear me out. And so when I say credit card churning, what I mean is taking advantage of the very generous sign-up bonuses that banks have for new credit card users, saving those points up, and then using them towards travel or towards whatever else. In this instance, in this video, we're talking about travel, so let me explain how that would work and how you can appropriately use credit cards to get free points to travel and build your credit in the process and get to go places for free, which is just fantastic. And if you do find this interesting, there's one very key thing that you need to do right now, and that is to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That would help me out greatly. Thank you. Without further ado, let me explain how credit card churning works in a more detailed way, and let me explain how you can start doing it for yourself to get free travel. So before we talk about credit card churning itself, I need to dispel a few myths there are out there about credit cards and how they work. One of the biggest arguments against credit cards is going to be how much interest they accrue, and that if you even own one credit card, you're going to drown in debt in like 2 years. Well, that's a fallacy unless you're just horrible with money and just decide that going to buy jet skis is totally fine every single day. Don't do that, number one. To dispel this myth, that's really not accurate. So the only situation in which you will pay interest on your credit card is if you do not pay the bill in full on the day it's due or before it's due. That's the only situation. But alternatively, you will never pay any interest on your credit card if you pay off your entire statement balance, the whole thing, on the day it's due or before it is due. If you do this, no interest will be applied to your balance, and so you'll get to borrow money for free from the bank. So that is step one, and also rule one on how to use credit cards responsibly. Step two is obviously to treat a credit card as an extension of your bank account and never to spend more than what you currently have. Those two things in combination, those will take you very far and help you be able to use credit cards responsibly. So now we have that one thing covered, let's talk about thing number two, which is, I'm sure, going to come up in the comment section, and that is,
but Nate, my credit score isn't good enough to do that, and you can't just open cards and close them and do that and have it not negatively affect your score? Yeah!
Well, you're right, and you're not right. Let me explain how this works. So the two largest factors in your credit score are this. Firstly, it's payment history, which is kind of a clear, obvious reason as to why that's the first one. Number two, though, it is your credit utilization. Credit utilization is essentially a ratio of how much you're using of your credit versus how much credit is available to you. So let me explain that in a little more simplified way. So let's say you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit. That means you are able to spend $1,000 on it. And on your credit card, you currently have purchases that total $100. In this situation, you would take the total amount of your purchases and divide it by your total credit limit, and that will give you a 10% credit utilization rate. So typically, you never want to have your utilization rate exceed 20%, and ideally, you want to keep it to like 2 or 3% at the maximum. So actually, having more credit cards open and having low balances on those will actually give you a really solid score, because on average, you're only using 1 to 2, maybe 3% of your total available credit. And just an example of how this affects things, I currently have 6 credit cards open with a total of about $100,000 of line of credit available to me, but my utilization barely ever goes over 1% because I have so many cards open and so much credit available to me. And that shows the bank that I only use a teeny little bit of what is available to me, and that tells them that I am a responsible borrower. And one more thing that does affect your credit is going to be opening new accounts. But this does not affect your account hardly as much as the other 2 things that I mentioned. So if you're opening new accounts and then closing them, it's not going to have that big of an impact on your score if you already have your score established. So if you are just starting your credit journey and you haven't quite gotten the 720 or higher credit score yet, well, that's okay. We can still help you out here. And what I would go ahead and recommend you do is get a Capital One Platinum card. This is the one that I got when I first got started. They have very, very generous approval terms. And even though I had almost no income at the time and a terrible credit score, I was able to get approved for it, and that was the start of my credit building journey. Now I have a credit score that's about 745, 750, and it continues to go higher as my credit diversification expands and as I have more on-time payments reported to the credit bureaus. So now that we have those basics covered, let me address the next thing, which is going to be the sign-up bonuses for the credit cards themselves. So what banks do to attract new customers to their credit cards is going to be to offer very lucrative sign-up bonuses. And these range from just a few $100s to several $1,000s depending on what card you get. In this example, we're going to be sticking with one family of cards through a few different banks and then one additional card that can be helpful with things as well here. So the airline that I primarily fly on is American Airlines, and they have been incredible for me. I know some do not like them. I have had only good experiences with them, so that's why I keep using them. But one really neat thing with American Airlines is that because they are such a big company, they have very many connections with other companies as well. And so when it comes to credit cards, they actually have 2 main banks that carry their credit cards. These 2 banks are going to be Barclays and Citi. Both of these banks have excellent cards, and I'm going to go through and explain how these points work with them and how the sign-up bonuses can help you get enough points to go ahead and travel for totally free. And one more card that I'm going to include here also has an incredible sign-up bonus, but this one can be used directly to pay for other miscellaneous expenses related to travel. So in combination between the American Airlines card and the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, you're going to be able to travel totally for free with exception of a few annual fees, but the value of the points that you are getting will eclipse the annual fees tenfold. So it all pays for itself. It's literally free money. And if you're planning to go on any kind of trip anyways, this is just one way to do it for cheaper or even free. And I'll explain how. So assuming you've watched the entire video up until right now, you have seen my tips and rules for how to use credit cards responsibly. You now see that we are in a position to learn about these cards, to see their bonuses, and to apply them and use them to go travel. So the first card you're gonna wanna get is gonna be the Chase Sapphire Preferred. This is an excellent card with a lot of great benefits. And one cool thing too, it's metal, it's pretty sweet, I like that. But aside from that, it offers a 60,000 point sign-up bonus for spending $4,000 on the card in the first 3 months. Now, I know this is a lot for most people, but if you have big expenses coming up, like, I don't know, some major holiday in the next month or 2, you may have some spending you need to make anyways. So with this assumed, you can go ahead, put your holiday spending on the card, and go ahead, save these points up for when you go travel, and this will help cut down your costs significantly. Now, the only caveat to this card is it does have a $99 annual fee, which is not waived the first year, so you will have to pay that. But the point value you're gonna get back is worth about $800 in total. The reason I have this card first is because this is gonna be the card you're gonna use to cover all your miscellaneous expenses, like airport fees, food, transportation, and other little things that are going to come up but can't be covered with the points from the other cards. So in a moment, I'll be talking about the cornucopia of cards that American Airlines offers. There's many of them, but I picked the 4 best to give you the best point value for the money you have to spend to be able to get it. So I'm gonna give you the rationale as to why I picked the cards that I did. So if you go to the American Airlines website and you look at the redeem miles section of flight booking, you can actually see that round trip tickets from Dallas to the UK are at the absolute cheapest gonna be 50,000 points for each round trip ticket. Now this is gonna be in the summer, in the June time. And so what you can actually do is if you and a friend or partner, whoever, if you want to go to the UK and you're from the Midwest or wherever else in the US, you can do so with just a total of 100,000 points. Now with the cards I'm gonna show you, they're gonna come to a total of 240,000 points. And I understand that that is quite a bit more than the 100,000 points that you're going to need, but these extra 140,000 points that I'm mentioning here that you can get, these are gonna be to cover your hotel and lodging costs. In addition to being able to use your American Airlines points to exchange them for flights, you can also exchange them for hotel stays. So I found in the UK that you can actually get a hotel for about 15,000 points per night on the low end. So if you actually want to go ahead and go to the UK, you can fly there, stay in a hotel for 9 days, and come back for totally free doing this trick. Now, if you were to do it otherwise, if you were to go ahead and pay this on your own, you would pay at minimum $3,000 for the plane tickets alone, and you would probably pay another $3,000 for the hotels too. Things are very expensive in the UK, and so this is gonna cut down on your costs significantly. Without further ado, I'm going to get into these cards now. I'm gonna explain how much they're worth in terms of point values and any other caveats that cards may have attached to them that you need to consider. Starting out in this first one, it is gonna be the American Airlines Barclays Aviator Red Mastercard. That was a mouthful. This card is gonna offer you 50,000 points for making one purchase on the card in the first 90 days. That is it. You make one purchase on this card in the first 90 days, you get 50,000 points free. The value of these points is about $833. The only caveat here is it does have a $99 annual fee, which they do not waive the first year, so you have to pay that. But this is going to be enough points for one round trip ticket to and from the UK. The next card I'm going to mention is going to be the American Airlines Barclays Business Mastercard. Now this is a card that I just got, and it has a very, very generous 75,000 total points you can earn from this. Now you don't necessarily have to have a business to get this card. This is intended for business owners, but you can get it regardless. But what you absolutely do want to do is when you get this card, you make sure you not only get a card for yourself, but you get a card for somebody else. Now you say, Nate, why on earth would I do that? I don't want to give someone my credit card. Well, no, you don't want to just give your card to anyone, but hear me out on this. The sign-up bonus on this card works like this. If you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days of having the card on this card, you can get 65,000 points as a sign-up bonus. And if you have a card made for an employee and that employee makes one purchase on the card, then you will get an additional 10,000 points that you can apply towards your travel balance. So when you go ahead and sign up for this card, you will want to create an employee card for whoever you decide to do that for, but you won't give it to anyone. You'll just use it yourself to make one purchase on that card, and then on whatever card you want to use, mainly use that and get the $1,000 on that. And then you'll get a total of 75,000 points that you can use. And at this point, we have 125,000 points currently in our balance. So that's 2 round trip tickets to the UK and then 1.5 nights in a hotel. The next card we're going to want to get is the American Airlines Citi AAdvantage Select. This card has a 50,000 point sign-up bonus if you spend $2,500 in the first 90 days of having the card open. Now, I understand that that's quite a bit more money to come up with and to spend in this amount of time, but again, assuming you have some big expenses coming up, you can put those on the card and you'll be able to meet the minimum spend with no problem. The one thing I need to caution you on right now, please hear me out, do not spend extra money you would not normally just to get the minimum spend on this card so you can get the sign-up bonus. Please do not do that. That's one thing I'm going to caution you against. Do not do this. If this fits with your normal spending, if you spend about $1,000 a month, these cards will work really great for you. And over the course of 8 to 12 months, you'll be able to have enough spend naturally so that you can get all the points and then go ahead and travel on a crazy, ridiculous trip of a lifetime for free. And also with the Citi AAdvantage Platinum Select, the point value is going to be $833, and there's a $99 annual fee, but in the first year that is waived, so it's actually $0. So this is, again, a really great card to use to get those points, to build them up, to go travel. And this last card is going to be the American Airlines Citi Business Select. This card offers a 65,000 point sign-up bonus, which is really, really generous and worth about $1,083. To get this sign-up bonus, you'll have to spend $4,000 in the first 120 days you have the card. Now keep in mind, this is $4,000 in the first 120 days you have the card. Typically, cards will have a 90-day cycle that you need to meet the minimum spend in when you get it. This one gives you a little more time to do that. So like I mentioned earlier, if you average about $1,000 a month in spending, these cards will work naturally and well for you because you already spend roughly that much anyways. And also with this card, it has a $99 annual fee, but it is waived the first year as well, like the previous card that I mentioned. So there's no upfront costs with that. So in total, you are out the door with $1,083 of additional value added to your total. So with all that said, these are the totals that we're looking at. With everything combined, you have almost $4,000 to work with to go ahead and travel. And this is worst case scenario. But at other times of the year, things can be more expensive to pay for with cash, but the point value remains relatively consistent. So this could potentially be worth $8,000 to $9,000 in the future. So I hope you guys liked today and my breakdown of how to travel for free, totally for free, no clickbait. This is legitimate here, free life hacks for you. So if you like this, please subscribe to the channel. I post twice a week, every single week for you guys. And that's it for me for this week, and I'll see you guys next time.